Making Big Shifts, presented by Marketing Reboot, with your host, Josh Anderson.
Welcome to Making Big Shifts on Marketing Reboot. I'm your host, Josh Anderson, and we will spotlight real operators making real changes and real results that followed. We'll break down the playbooks, the pitfalls, and the pros and cons, and show you the proof about how you can do this yourself. So let's roll. Today, I'm happy to be joined by Erik, Braund, CEO and founder of Katmai Tech, which enables distributed teams to feel like they're together anywhere in the world. So welcome, Erik.
Hey, Josh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's just get into it. So this is all about making big shifts, right? It's all about making big changes when you see things that need to happen. So what was your, oh crap, we got to change something up moment, and what happened?
I mean, that moment was June of 2020. That was the genesis. And then I'll tell you about it. Like, that was a moment of why we even started this thing. And then there have been those moments along the way from inception, right? June of 2020, we're 3 months into this, like we're at home, people are starting to discover Zoom and Teams and these things. And then the world has shifted to meeting by appointment on a grid of faces. Mm-hmm. And my business prior to this, I was in audio video production. So I was making large video productions in real life. So it was like 5 to 50 people inside of a room. So we couldn't do that anymore, right?
Right.
You know, then fast forward, I'm like remote producing all hands meetings for large companies where we have like the longest telephoto lens you've ever seen in the backyard of the president of the company. So no one comes within 50 feet. You know, it's like, this is not going to work.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it was kind of this like, there's got to be a better way to collaborate, feel like we're kind of there. And there's kind of like something in this gaming world. And then the idea came to life here of like, what about video in 3D? There was a small core team early on. Many of those people are still with us today. This is 5 years ago. The early versions of solving this problem would melt the computer that you're on and I'm on today. I mean, I remember spinning up the first thing and it was a $5,000 machine just stacked. And it was like, oh, we could heat our house with this after 2 minutes. So that was kind of like, if we can make this work, I think this technology is going to be very interesting.
Totally.
Almost too many use cases. So that became a very interesting, like, okay, we got to stay narrow of how we're going to roll this thing out into the future.
Totally. Yeah, go to market plan for sure. Yeah. Interesting. So what options were you weighing? I know you're kind of going back and forth there, but how did you get to what Katmai is?
Yeah, great question. So it's very interesting, very organically. So picture we're at home, we're not supposed to see people, you know, everything's got to shut down, but we got this cool technology that we're trying to figure out. And there's me, there's a guy in Florida, there's a guy in Brooklyn, there's a guy in the Netherlands. And we all just kind of opened this to be near each other to talk about it throughout the day. Yeah. And there was kind of like a WhatsApp at first. And then there was a like, well, why don't we just go in it and then stay in it? And then it was like, oh, we're just in a place together. And then I added a few more people to the team. This is like pre-investors bootstrapped for 2 years of just company R&D. And it was like, this almost feels like an office. And then what about if we like cross a threshold and then that's like a sound zone and now you and I are connected, but when we leave that threshold, we can see each other, but we can't really hear each other. What about if we could close that door? What about if we could customize the environment? What about if we built these little desks? What about if we made the background the Netherlands one day and New York City one day? And it just like really organically was like, holy cow, if we had started this 2 years before the pandemic and had this available during the pandemic, this would have skyrocketed instantly.
Blown up. Yeah.
But it was never like a pandemic play. The pandemic did a couple things for us. It said, hey, there can be a shift and the dust will settle, and it's still settling around return to work, right? Like we've all been given freedom. I'm at home. Are you at home?
I'm at home. Yes.
We're at home. Like the world's still churning, right? Like meeting by appointment on Zoom and Teams and WebEx and Google Meet saved the global economy for a couple of years. It also said, it's kind of nice to be able to pick up my kid at school or like be at home or not travel all the time or not commute all the time. Yeah. And then the powers that be have slowly sucked, 50% of the companies back in one way or another. There's mortgages to do, there's politics, there's all sorts of things.
Totally.
So we thought, what if in this new paradigm, we didn't just assess the return to office and remote work and work from home with the two options of back to the office or Zoom, right? It's like great tools, not trash talking other tools. It's like, there can be something else. There's room to innovate. And that's what we did. And so now we're like, hey, you can be in a shared virtual space. You don't have to be there 9 to 5. See what happens in like 2 hours a day of just being around each other, to the culture, to the visibility, to the interactions, to the interesting meeting stats. In our virtual office, our customers, I'm going to pull it up so I don't misspeak. We just pulled these. Our customers, the meeting size is an average of 16 minutes with 2 to 3 people. The average meeting is 16 minutes long,
Yeah.
2 to 3 people. The average Zoom meeting last year was 52 minutes with 7 people.
You think it's just because it's so much easier to bop in and out with meetings, or why do you think that is?
I know it
Yeah.
to the point where in Katmai, check this one out, 90% of the meetings are spontaneous, 10% are scheduled.
That's
And
actually
so it's
really, it's
like,
so much spontaneity and creativity that happens with that, right?
and when you're spontaneous and you have an idea and you can act
Yeah.
on it very quickly, you don't need 52 minutes. You don't need 5 more people. It's like, where's the person I want to talk to for the immediate next step to bounce this off of?
Totally.
And so it's really, we have a customer that says, Katmai turns next week's 30-minute meeting into today's 5-minute conversation. And
Yeah.
that one like still gives me chills because it's like, oh,
That's a great marketing slogan.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Really interesting. Like for my use case, excuse me, I'll just jump onto like a Slack huddle, right? But still,
Yep.
it depends on if the person's there. Here, you can actually see if they're there right now, and just walk right up to them, or move right up to them via the virtual realm. That's awesome.
Yeah, and for the listeners, we didn't even like explain it. Katmai is an immersive video conferencing platform where our whole goal is to enrich digital communication between people. We're trying to say we can push this one step further. And so, it's similar to the problem that Meta was trying to solve when they rebranded to Meta, which was, hey, what if, we can feel more immersed together and have more access? Now, the fatal flaw for me, in my opinion, of that whole $20 billion a year spend they've been doing was everybody's supposed to strap on a headset. I think that's crazy. I think it's dystopian and further removes each other from the real person. Like before you know it, it's either like some cartoon version of me or a 3D scanned version of me. And it just gets weird. I even bought an Apple Vision Pro and I did the 3D scan of my face and I logged into our virtual office and didn't tell everyone. And all I did was creep everyone out.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. Yeah. So good point. We probably should have went a little more in depth on Katmai. That's a great explanation of it. What do you think it's going? Like what do you see coming down the pipe that's going to be the next shift for your company?
Yeah. It happened and we've reacted quickly. So we put this product out after a lot of 2024 was like tons of beta testing for us,
Yeah.
a little customer acquisition for the virtual office. And we learned, hey, it's 3D, it's immersive. Where are the rough edges? What do we need to smooth out? What do we need to like make really simple, right? In the UX and the UI. So we did a lot of that and we put this thing out early 2020. We thought our first core customer group would follow our beta group, which was, a company that is like 5 to 30 employees or people on the team, fully remote, maybe like a tech startup with better machines, kind of nerdy, gamers, all these things, right? You start seeing this like, well, this is the obvious use case. But we didn't expect where large companies would be really interested in it also right out of the gate. And enterprise adoption path is much different than like, hey, I have 5 people on my team. I signed up for your free trial. I put my credit card in. We figured out how to use it. We're good to go. We don't need to talk to you. Like,
onboarding.
those are great. Those are amazing when those happen, right? And then you get the like, hey, we're one of the 10 biggest companies in the world. We're interested in your technology. We're going to put you through 9 months of vetting your technology. Legal vetting, data vetting, retention,
Then
oh,
a
by the
massive
way,
onboarding, a massive customer support package, things of that nature.
all of it. And even when you get through all that, you still start probably with the small group that was interested and then grow inside the company that way, right?
Yeah.
And it's different needs, different use cases. So that actually helped us evolve from just Katmai is a virtual office to Katmai is a platform. The virtual office is a module. We also have something called Interview Loop, which is for like conducting round robin interviews in a more kind of real way. We have something for virtual offsites, something for office hours, which helps leaders that have lots of one-on-ones or maybe no time for all the one-on-ones kind of cycle through them faster and say, hey, I've got office hours. Get in line, take a ticket, we'll chat, right? So it was that switch from we are just a virtual office to we are a collaboration platform.
Yeah, that's a massive shift, right?
I mean, it is. And we're still boxed into we are B2B. We are for people to communicate professionally today. However, when you see our tech, you'll be like, oh, I get it. You're like in the video game. Oh, that's pretty interesting. And so we've actually seen some free trials sign up that are like study groups. We built a module that is laser tag where you like shoot each other with lasers. And it's actually pretty fun because you like see your friend's face react to getting shot with a laser, right? However, we're not integrating laser tag into offices just yet. Slightly different use case. So easy to get distracted. We're staying pretty focused on like, how do we become like a key part of people's workflow? So like another statistic to back it up a little bit, our users spend on average of 23 hours a week in Katmai.
Wow.
They're they're logged in. It's a browser. It's open on your computer.
Impressive. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave me a demo right before we jumped on here, and it is definitely immersive, and you can definitely tell like even like laser tag or not, how well it could help just get things done faster, but also build a team culture. How
Yes.
have you guys helping or seeing people use it for that purpose?
Culture is like, it's the hardest one to measure,
Yeah.
but it's like this feedback we get in all these different ways. And part of it goes to visibility. So here's one. Zoom's CEO, like a year and a half ago, told all of Zoom they had to come back to the office. And I mean, like
That
he
was a lot,
said,
right?
you can't run a company permanently on Zoom. You lose culture. You can't have culture remotely with a lifestyle by appointment for video calls.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that is so fascinating because in Katmai, the agreement you make for the virtual office is, hey, we're going to be here together at a set amount of hours at a set amount of days, right? So maybe like Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to be there for 4 hours. You and I might not meet. We might not have a meeting. We're just available. I might bump into you in the hallway and say, hey, Josh, how's it going? What are you reading over there behind your shoulder? You know, it's like, I don't have a more articulate way to say this, but culture is like kind of built by bullshitting with each other and just like having a chat that isn't the 30 seconds before a meeting or the awkward 45
Yeah.
seconds as everyone's signing off. That doesn't build culture. That's just awkward time.
Or literally everybody goes, I'm busy. How are you doing? I'm busy. And then it goes to the meeting, right? That's really how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, you know, after 2 years of working together fully remotely, a bunch of us met for the first time. The only thing that was surprising was like, oh, you're taller or shorter than I thought. Everything
so
else
true.
was like, we didn't have to like learn mannerisms or something. It was just so interesting because we had just like cohabitated an office space, although virtually, for a long time. So like culture, and it's like this, so it goes back to this idea of visibility where, you know, you've got a guy like Jamie Dimon at JP Morgan that says, everybody back into the office. I'm building a gazillion-dollar tower in Manhattan. There's no such thing as like upward movement in a company. If you're a junior getting hired, you got to be around people. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I kind of call bullshit on that because in Katmai, there's two-way visibility. People want to see and be seen.
Yeah.
It's not just like, is everyone on my team at work? You know, it's like, it's not meant for micromanaging. It's meant for like connecting. And those are like very different things, right?
Yeah. No, that's yeah. And we kind of hit the nail on the head where it's really hard to track culture, but like even like so for some of my clients, I had them track burnout as KPIs, and a lot of that is like, you know, I have a whole article and everything on it, but there are some ways to track culture in terms of KPIs. Maybe like that 23 hours per day logged into Katmai, that might be a culture play because that's a lot of hours logged into there just in general, right? Just like use case. So that's really cool though. Cool. If you had to do it all over again, I realize you guys just really launched in 2025, but what would you do different?
I probably would have saved like a little bit of my money before I raised money. instead of spending down to where I had $2,000 left in my savings account.
You were bought in, man. You were fully bought in.
Oh, me and my wife, we are all in on this bad boy. I tell you what, for better or for worse. Yeah, I mean, you know, hindsight being 2020, I would have probably like grown the team slightly differently at different inflection points, and like, you know, honestly, not a lot because there is no playbook for this.
Yeah.
I really don't spend much time looking back, beating myself up. I think it's like probably would have hired slightly differently, but like you don't know what you don't know. And then you can look back and say, oh gosh, wish I didn't do that. Or yeah, that fit probably wasn't right. We should have made that, you know, whatever. But, and like, you know, we did some projects for some larger companies that were outside of our scope. So they weren't virtual office. They were just powered by our technology. And like we, you know, put some eggs in that basket and launched some things that generated revenue, generated lots of users, but then maybe that company gets a new CEO. Maybe everybody that you used to work with at that company is no longer at that company. Maybe no one at that company knows who you are anymore. These are all hypotheticals.
These are experiences, of course. Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, those are like choices that like I couldn't have affected those outcomes at all.
Yeah.
But like, you know, in our immediate purview, it's like, you know, there's no playbook to create a technology and turn it into a product fully remotely in the middle of a pandemic when like fundraising markets are totally insane. They're either inflated or they're like gone.
Right.
Like, it's like, I don't know. There's no playbook for that. So the fact that 5 years in, we're still here, we have over 50 patents on our technology.
That's really cool. Yeah.
We've proven the technology can scale to millions of people. We're adopting some large companies, some small companies. I wish it'd go a little bit faster. I wish we were making a little more revenue a little sooner of those things, of course, like who doesn't? But the fact that we're still here, I'm just like, hey, that's not fucking easy. That is fucking hard to do.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. A lot of ups and downs throughout there. A lot of sleepless nights, I'm sure. And you're still going strong.
Yeah. You know, our team is half the size it was at the height of it. And like, that's just a matter of like, gotta stay alive, gotta focus, gotta make sure that we, you know, like I said, we would have done a few things differently, but like I've just tried to like hang on as long as possible. And now we're at a point where like we're like winning some like major opportunities. I'm
Very exciting time then.
not trying to be coy. I just like, you have, with the larger the company that gets, the more lawyers have to say whether you're allowed to say their name or not. So
That's true. Very true.
I'm not rushing any of that. I'm just happy that stuff's starting to move along.
That's awesome. Well, what advice would you give people? I mean, like, I realize we kind of talked about these shifts you've been making as well. And you already gave some great advice, like take action and really don't look in the rearview mirror, right? Look in front of you. What else other advice would you give some people out there listening?
I mean, I am just by nature, I am a guy that wakes up every day and doesn't dwell on yesterday, especially like if I've been wronged or something didn't go right or something, I'm like, let's not punish that or go after that. Let's just like, what can we do better today? Like, if I didn't have that, I would be so like sucked into the mire of things that could have gone wrong or did go wrong. So like, it's really, and it's tough to do, to keep this like optimistic, like endlessly optimistic outlook, even where things are like super grim at times. They're not today, but like things have been tough. I got little kids and a home life, and I'm like trying to launch this startup, and I'm traveling all the time, and like that's all crazy. But I'd say like, if you can't put everything you got into it and be absolutely endlessly optimistic and unwavering about your idea and what you believe in and your vision, don't do it. But if you have a vision, and even if people are like, I don't get it, or it's too big, or I don't understand, but if you have it, you got to go for it. And like, I have sat in Katmai multiple times with folks, very intelligent people, after an hour-long demo, and the question is still, wait, are those real people in those little discs? Are those people? And I'm just like, oh my God, oh wow. So those are opportunities for me to adjust how I present things. And so usually now in the first 30 seconds, I'm like, and by the way, that's an actual real person. Let's go talk to them.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do with me.
Yeah.
You've learned it. That's
not going to make that mistake another 100 times.
That's great. And what else? I mean, you sounds like you released a lot more modules to the whole platform. So this will becoming a true platform now, right? Not just a virtual. What else are you looking forward to and excited about with Katmai coming into 2026?
The ability for folks to start to truly customize it more themselves is pretty fun. We're like stepping into that on our roadmap, where it's like kind of, limited things you can do that are becoming more and more and more.
Yeah.
But it's like, one of the first questions we get is like, oh, can I customize it to look exactly like my office? We have done those. We've built those at great expense for some customers. That isn't always the right choice. It's like the office I showed you, it's like all glass. So structurally, that office would fall down if we built it in real life. It'd be very unsafe, and it's floating in the sky. But like in the virtual world, you don't have lateral loads and shear loads.
Yeah,
and
you
like
got some liberties. You can take some liberties.
You don't have HVAC. You don't have all these things to worry about, right? And so we actually did we have like a guy who leads our experience team that actually has an architectural background too, in addition to 3D stuff and filmmaking. And he and I bonded over like filmmaking tricks of the trade of like, how do you make it look that way, even if it isn't that way? A lot of that is going into like how we're serving this up to people, because we are rendered on your machine. We're not rendered in the cloud.
Okay.
That is a huge benefit of us long-term, right? It was harder to do because I don't know what kind of computer you have, but I still want to say it's going to work on your computer, Josh. I don't need to ask you ahead of time.
Right.
So like now we can do that pretty well. But that's all to say with the architectural background. Sorry, I took a sidestep here, but we built things that had walls. It was like, well, let's build it up. It's like, well, you'd have a wall. And I was like, what do we have walls for? Why do I log into a browser looking at walls? I want to see people. I want to see the outside. I want to see stuff. And that was like a really important learning for us along the way.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, the aesthetics are massively important. And whenever you showed me, I love the glass walls, because I literally could see 15 people out about doing their own thing.
I'm logged into my office now, and there's 14 other people there right now.
Yeah. I
could go talk to any of them or not. I have my door closed because I'm on here with you, and now I'm literally in 3 places at once.
What a modern world.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this has been great. Anything else you want to add about Katmai or anything you're working on currently? I mean,
no, I'll just say it's a pretty interesting technology. Definitely, we have a free trial. You can try it. I'm not trying to be salesy or anything, but it's katmaitech.com, KATMAITECH.com. I always encourage people, hey, shoot me a thing on LinkedIn. Come visit our office. That is the best demo you can do. Is like, let me show you around for 15 minutes, introduce you to some people, show you the functionality. And before you know it, you're like, oh man, I got to get my team on this. Like, huh.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I said, that quick demo you did, it's amazing. I can totally see how it improved culture, productivity for sure. Just those little bump in meetings looked awesome. Yeah, guys, definitely check it out. Tech, right? So that'd be great.
.com, katmaitech.com.
Katmaitech.com.
Yeah.
Messed that one up. Thank you for correcting me. All good. All right, Eric. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be on. And for all of our listeners, we'll see you on the next Making Big Shifts.
Right on. Thanks for having me, Josh. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to Making Big Shifts. Like, share, and follow for more. Join us next time on Making Big Shifts, presented by Marketing Reboot,